Morning everyone, what a beautiful Saturday. This was one of the orchids that I painted for Patreon this month. This was one that I painted quite a few years ago, and I love the tutorial that I did right now. There are 4 parts to this tutorial and they were all step by step. And this is one that I painted for YouTube. I hope you tried it out. And then I painted this beautiful little English rose. Just go look at it, it's quite fun. And then the dandelion. I cut the dandelion into the same as a little bookmark, and I gave it to someone as a card, but they use it as a bookmark, so it's quite beautiful and fun to use. So for the next tutorial, I want some transparent yellow or nickel azure yellow, whichever color you want. You can also use lemon yellow. And then I want some sap green and maybe some burnt umber or burnt sienna with a drop of Payne's grey. And then you'll hear Mr. T snoring, and he is right here next to me while I'm doing the voiceover, snoring away. So warm, it's starting to get very cold here. So I have a little bit of the transparent yellow already in a little plate there, and then I just drop in some of the sap green and then some of the burnt umber or burnt sienna just on the next palette here next to me. Just a drop, you don't need a lot. So I think we'll make a beautiful mother's card sort of bookmark, because it's nearly Mother's Day here in South Africa, and I think it will be quite a fun tutorial. You can also paint some flowers. I have loads of little flowers on my YouTube channel that I painted, so, or even some shells. Go check it out. You can make a whole little bookmark with some shells on. I'm using the Canson XL watercolor paper. It's a lovely little spiral book, and the paper is cold press but still fun to use. So I'm going to use 3 different types of paper. I'm going to show you. I've painted this 3 times already. I painted one on normal arch hot press watercolor paper, and as a little practice study, and it was lovely to paint on. So I'll test it on this Canson paper and see if I like it. I need some tissue paper next to me. I have 2 glasses of clean water and then some brushes. So you can use a 4-5 round brush. You'll see I have a brush with a nice tip, because I'm going to use the tip to create the top part of those little leaves. Think of rosemary leaves, a little a sprig of rosemary leaves on, that's what I'm going to paint. And you can also paint a few little purple flowers if you want. I'm just going to keep it simple, and I'm going to paint the little leaves. So mix a drop of that yellow with the green. So I want to get quite a nice creamy consistency, and you're going to see that I will overlap some of the colors. This is my Payne's grey that I have on the palette, so I'm just going to put a drop. Payne's grey is quite dangerous, quite pigmented, so use a drop. You don't want too much of it. So just move a little bit onto the side of the plate there, and then I just take some there. So just drop your brush in there. Don't put too much in there, because then you'll have to clean your palette out. And I just take the brush and I pull it down, or push it down on the paper. Thin, thick strokes, all different thickness on the paper. And do this slowly. I take my time, so don't want to mess it up. Then I just mix a bit more of the Payne's grey with the umber or burnt sienna mix. I want quite a dark brown. So if you really look at a sprig of a rosemary, it's quite dark, but there's a bit of green in certain parts, and then on this side as well. So the brush has a nice tip, also slight rounded when you wet it, so that's what I want for the little leaves. Then you'll see I pull it out and I create those little tiny little spriggy sections on the stem. And some more Payne's grey. I want quite a thick dark green here. this paper is very nice to paint on, especially for studies. And what's nice is it's perforated. I think that's what you call it. But you can tear it out and use it for something else too, if you want to tear it out. And this is the shape of the brush. Now I'm going to push the brush down and lift it up slightly, like this. And then I will go back over while it's wet. Now I don't have too much water on my brush because I don't want to create blooms or backflows. And again, I push it down and lift it up towards the stem. Just like that. Some don't look like rosemary leaves, but it doesn't matter. It's a fun study. This is very fun and relaxing to do if you want to just paint. Now you don't even have to be able to paint to do this little tutorial. It's a fun Mother's Day card. And just pull it down, so I really take my time and focus on the shape of these little leaves. Mr. T, are you okay, boy? And again, you'll notice that I have different colors on my brush, so I constantly go back and pick up more paint. Different colors, so I'll move around on the palette whichever color I want. That one's a bit thick, but that's okay. And that side too. And then I take it over the stem because I want to go back later with a little bit of a darker color, just to reinforce the little detail by the stem where the leaf touched the stem. But I will show you some leaves overlap, and you can wait for this to dry a little bit if you have time. I'm pressed for time, yes. I want to get it done over or under a certain amount of time, so I'm just going to drop some color in then, just to darken certain sections. So on the one side it will be a little bit darker than the other side, so that's what I do, just to create a little bit of a interest detail to some of the little leaves. I'll just drop it on the one side and leave the one side lighter. It's slightly dry, but it's still wet. And on this side. And currently we have a full moon and the sea is so loud, so with Mr. T snoring and the sea, you might hear the very loud waves hitting the rocks. It's quite noisy, but so beautiful to listen to at night. And then I just go back and darken some of these again while it's wet. Now as you can see, we're nearly done. It was so quick and easy, so fun to paint, and even you can try it if you haven't painted ever in your life before. And you know, now I want a bit of a darker brown mix, and I'm going to darken certain sections where I painted over some parts of the stem, and I'm also going to take it into the leaves like that, just slight texture and detail, just darken it a slight bit so they can flow back into those leaves while they're still wet. And a bit more on these sides. And then I just darken it again. And I want it to look like I broke this stem off, so I'm not going to have a perfect bottom there. It's like you run into the garden, you're cooking a chicken and you quickly want to grab some of your rosemary and you just break a piece of your rosemary off. Well, that's what I do. I never have my scissor with me, so, and I always love to have that in the kitchen next to the stove because it smells so amazing. Always break some sprigs off. Very difficult to grow, but once it's established, it's perfect. It will grow forever. So So this is a very rough piece of watercolor paper that I'm going to test another little section. So let's just do it again. This is the little leaves that you want on your paper. Now you can also paint the little leaves first instead of the stem. And you can see the color is very similar but different paper. So the paper have like little dots in, so it's not smooth. I have a section where I show you what types of paper you get. So this is the very rough watercolor paper that you get, very similar to cold press watercolor paper. And just imagine you can paint loads of these little bookmarks for cards for your friends. They will appreciate it so much more than a card that you bought, maybe if you write a little note on the back. So it's a fun study to do, and you know what, anyone can do that. Even that little rose that I painted previously, I didn't soften the lines. It's such an easy, quick rose to paint. I want to put it on some paper and use it for some line drawing to line your drawers with a lovely smell. And you can always put some essential oils on there. So yes, that's one of my plans with that piece of paper. As you can see, this one's slightly different. Paper is lovely to paint on. I don't normally paint on very rough watercolor paper. Most of my paper is smooth paper. And then I just darken the center again. And the paper is quite rough compared to the smooth paper that I painted on. I painted the dandelion on this scrap piece of paper, and it is lovely paper to use as well, and especially I think for landscapes it will be perfect. Or birds with a lot of texture where you want some detail on your feathers, I think it's quite fun to paint on. So just darken and overlap a little bit more of the color and leaves over certain sections, just to brighten them up again. Now you can just add little purple flowers in there if you want to, which will be beautiful as well. I think it will just create a lovely piece of card for Mother's Day. Now the Payne's grey and umber color, just want to darken those little stems again. So I just pull it through into the stem from the leaf. That's a fun part, is to add all of the last little bits of detail just before you're done. And there you have it. We painted quite a few. Again, we want not a perfect bottom there. And that is the little rosemary sprigs that we painted. So yeah, they are all three together. And this is the art hot press watercolor paper, very smooth. And then the rough watercolor paper, and then the cold press watercolor paper. If you like what you see, join us on YouTube and press the bell so that you will be reminded every time we upload a new video. This is our next tutorial on Patreon, and you can join us here for a little bit more detail, in-depth step-by-step tutorials. And then this is the Phalaenopsis orchid that we painted. Quite fun, and just a little bit of a preview of what we did here. If you want to learn how to paint watercolor flowers, then join us on Patreon. Hope to see you soon. Don't forget to subscribe and press the bell if you want to be reminded every time we upload a new YouTube video, which we do basically every week if we have the time.